But a lot of the questions pertain to Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly, and whether or not we can expect to see him get court-martialed. Is there anything you can say publicly about the investigation into Senator Mark Kelly and whether or not he's going to be held accountable for, encouraging members of the armed services to disobey the commander-in-chief?
Sure. So the actual inquiry has been referred to the Navy. I'm not a part of it, and so they are going through it to see what options that they're going to present. There's a range of options here. I mean, everybody's focusing on the possibility of a court-martial, but there's a whole bunch of things that they can do. They could do administrative remedies. They could give him a letter of reprimand. They could actually take one of his ranks away in retirement and lower his pension. And ultimately, what they're going to do is they're going to look at the feasibility of these different things. And so, if you look at what he did, and they try to say, if you look at this video, all we did was state the law. Okay, there are two problems with that. One, they misstated the law. The law is not that you have duty to disobey unlawful orders, manifestly unlawful orders, orders that are clearly illegal to everybody who hears them. So they lowered the standard first. Two, they didn't define what the unlawful orders they were talking about were. But if you instead take that video in the context of all of the other rhetoric, where they're talking about National Guard deployments are unlawful, Venezuelan boat strikes are unlawful, all of the other rhetoric, and you take those two together, then you say, okay, now what they're asking people to do is to not go to the National Guard deployments, to not execute Venezuelan boat strike orders. And that's the problem right there, is that those orders are lawful. Now, they can argue and they can say, oh, we think that order is unlawful. And if you have a dispute where some people think it's lawful, some people think it's unlawful, that means it's not manifestly unlawful. Deploy to Chicago with the National Guard, presumed lawful. Shoot that protester in the head, manifestly unlawful. Don't do that. And that's really the difference, is that they've put it in a way that is intended to confuse and is intended to, we believe, cause dissension within the ranks. And so that's something that the Navy is looking at.
So could he possibly face jail time?
He could. I mean,
Is it likely, though?
I don't think it's likely. I mean, this is just my personal opinion. The administrative hurdles you would have to get over to actually recall somebody to active duty to do that, it's been done before. But then,
what about getting him on some of his other treasonous behavior, like his involvement with the Chinese spy balloon company? I mean, he has direct ties to the CCP. I have a video of Mark Kelly that I published during the last election season of him riding into China on a motorcycle with a CCP flag and assisting them in their space center.
All of these things are things that would be good to look at, and really he has both the DOJ and the Department of War that could look at these things. The difficulty with recalling him to active duty, to be quite candid with you, is the Constitution prohibits somebody from holding office in two branches at the same time. And so if he were recalled to active duty in the executive branch, you can't simultaneously hold an office in the legislative branch, which means that recall to active duty is a functional disqualification or resignation from the Senate, which could potentially cause separation of powers issues, and I could see that being litigated heavily within the district court. So there are certainly procedural hurdles to that, and I think that ultimately, the Navy, their Judge Advocate General Bly is a very smart lawyer, and I think they're going to look at those and come to the best recommendation possible.